products, driven by strong demand worldwide, especially from China. He said weakening of the U.S. dollar is evident, and reduced global supplies is also showing up in the numbers. In the medium-long term, he said emerging economies, especially in Asia, offer the greatest market potential for U.S. farmers. He said trade is critical to U.S. ag sector, especially the vitality of the export program. U.S. is facing increasing competition from Latin America and Asia. He said agriculture has an important role to play in addressing climate change, and that'll be discussed in the next Farm Bill. Innovations, he said, help make agriculture more resilient, more productive, and more profitable, and said he hopes it continues in the future. He reminded everyone that over 20% of all U.S. agricultural production is exported around the world. In peanuts, it's almost 33%.
Peanut producers, fine-tune your farming operation with information gained at the 22nd Annual Southern Peanut Growers Conference, set for July 15th through 17th at Edgewater Beach Resort in Panama City Beach, Florida. The 3-day event provides farmers with valuable information about peanut production, legislative issues, marketing, and promotions. The conference is presented by the Southern Peanut Farmers Federation. Visit southernpeanutfarmers.org for more information.
For even more agricultural news, be sure to go to our website, southeastagnet.com. I'm Darren Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
We'll have a mix of clouds and sunshine today with a couple of thunderstorms this afternoon and a high of 85 to 89. Then mostly cloudy tonight, low 73 to 75. Wednesday, look for some sunshine, then turning cloudy with an afternoon and evening thunderstorm at a high of 86 to 88. Sun mixing with clouds Thursday, thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon, high 89 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
The warm weather deals just keep getting better at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. Want to hear some of the examples from this week's ad? Well, there's a fabulous mix-or-match sale on flowering shrubs. Everything from alamandra to New Zealand tea plant. Number 4 size, buy one, get one free. Lots and lots of Bob's favorites. Bottle brush, big number 3 size, just $19.99. And nobody has more crepe myrtles than Bob Wine's. Prices starting as low as $6.99. Check out those sun and shade loving camellias. They start at just $9.99. And all the hanging baskets are buy one, get one at half price. Check inside the old time greenhouse and get 20% off indoor foliage. It's warm weather time and the deals are hot this week at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens Nursery Center, landscaping daily till 4, Saturdays till 3 in the same blooming place on Southeast 38th Street in Ocala for nearly 70 years. It's Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Well, no, they did nothing but cut the grass. That's all it is. That's all it is. So I'm gonna start. It is. I'm looking at these bushes. Now these bushes in front of our window here probably have about 3 months growth.
I'd say, yeah.
Is that?
Because I don't think they pruned them.
What's the plant gets like that? Where you see a bunch of springs reaching high. That can't be helped. Now they're fighting for energy too. They're fighting for nutrients to get up to the top of them. But with the other bush.
I mean, it's going taller, so when you go and off, they end up with bigger areas just because all the growth is shading
Right.
underneath.
So as it goes taller, it shades some areas. They won't get as much light.
Yeah, and that's like, maintain it. So
Right. I noticed that, yeah.
From there, it does. That or they cut the other shorter.
They have.
They might have
But the reason I ask you is, if you don't keep the bushes trimmed properly, you can end up with bare spots, not like this.
Yeah.
Cut the shade, something like that in certain areas.
That's what.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Again.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post
Good
office
morning,
or
your
UPS
Master
store?
Gardener,
Are
Caroline
you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just ship off his pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Ship.
Really? That's cool.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to...
Yeah. Now, of course, he's a multi-millionaire.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
And he was your cousin, you said?
That was my cousin, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I visited him mostly funerals and weddings. Other than that, he lived in southwest Wisconsin, and I really didn't get to see him quite a bit, but he was quite a different person. And the family said he was a very unusual person, and I suppose you have to be able to invent something like that.
Right, but shoot, what? Yeah, I mean,
Ernest Gary Gygax. Look at that. That's his cousin right there.
That's cool. That's cool. I went to school with a girl whose father was I guess a chemist that made the glow sticks, that did the learned about how lightning bugs lit up, and that's how glow sticks came to be.
Huh. I did not know that.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Hugh, I will tell you why your cousin was so great. I just looked him up on the internet. He was born on the greatest day in history. He was born July 27th.
Oh, I thought maybe July 2nd.
No, he was born July 27th, the greatest day in history.
He born on Tom's birthday.
Same day I was born. Yeah, same day I was born.
Okay, now the real reason I called is about 10 months ago when I moved here, I received a plant gift from my neighbors where I was living, and a beautiful plant, and it had like 4 different, I don't know what kind it is, it's got 4 different kind of leaves, and there's a little card on the plant said indoor plant, water weekly and placed by window for sun.
Okay.
And some of the leaves now are turning brown on the tips. Maybe I'm not watering enough or too much.
It could. It could be an either or. Most plants like to dry at least a little bit between waterings, especially house plants. So you say it's got different leaves all through? Are they colorful leaves? Are they? Is it
They're
like
all pretty green? And
okay.
Yeah, and they're real pretty green. And when I got the plant, it was growing pretty good. And I transplanted it into a larger pot.
Okay.
And I got the correct soil for it. It was doing real good, but now I just noticed maybe in the last 2 or 3 months that some of the tips are turning brown, yellowish and brown.
Right.
No, it says water.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah,
because
I don't know if I'm watering.
Right, I got you. It's because you're in a larger pot. You may not need to water every week. You might be able to get away with every 2 weeks because a larger pot's going to hold a little more moisture than a small pot will. A small pot, the plant will use up that water in a shorter period of time than in a larger pot. Do you have a water softener on your house?
No. I give that plant spring water. I buy a case of spring water every so often, and I put about 2 bottles of spring water in there.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably not too much, but I would probably figure on doing that maybe every other week. Reach way down inside that soil, not just the top, but stick your finger way down in there. If it's moist down, a couple inches down, don't water it. But put it up, say in the week.
Okay.
In a week, don't water it. Check it. If it's still moist, go the 10 days, check it. If it's still moist, wait the 2 weeks. Because you want it to dry a little bit between waterings. You don't want to keep it wet. And I think that might be your problem.
Yeah, when you see a leaf like that turning brown right away, you think, oh my God, it needs water,
Right. But no, it can be the other direction just as well. And you could take a scissors and just snip those little brown tips off. The leaf is fine. If it's, 90% of the leaf is still green, the leaf is still working for the plant. I would just take the scissors and just snip off that brown tip and let it do its thing. Check and make sure that the sun isn't getting, if it's just on one side of the plant, or is it all the way around that the tips are burning?
It's kind of like everywhere.
Okay, then it's not too much sun. Yeah, I think you're probably getting it overwatered. So, yeah, just keep an eye on that and cut back on the water.
I've got it placed in a window that's facing to the west.
Okay.
So the plant is getting sunshine probably around 2 o'clock-ish till it sets. But of course, a lot of days it's cloudy, so it doesn't get any sun either.
That's all right. That's a bright enough window for it, especially when things are sold as a house plant. They're usually, they can handle a little lower light, even though it says a bright window. It's doing fine on that. I think it's the water.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your information, and have a nice day.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You too, Hugh. Have a great day.
Hey, I need to get this out.
Bye,
Hugh. I need to get this out real quick. There's a precautionary boil water notice issued by Marion County. Spruce Creek North, Woods and Meadows East, Oak Crest Estates, Emerald Point, Sandy Pines, Cherrywood, Forest Glen, Whispering Pines, Ocala Waterway Estates, Marco Polo, and Kingsland Country Estates. There's a water, it was put out late last night, and it's still in effect early this morning. If you got any information or you got any questions, contact the county's utility services at 352-307-6000. Once again, that's 352-307-6000. There's a precautionary boil water notice for those communities I read. So
right, and you can still shower and do your laundry. It's just drinking and cooking that they want you to boil your water.
You're going to brush your teeth. Yeah,
right. Hygienic and eating and drinking, you got to boil, but laundry and that is fine.
Certainly. Yeah. Just had to get that out there.
Oh yeah, I saw that last night online.
And it may, they may have
well, they'll test the water once it. Yeah, I think they had a break in
they had a water line go. So they had
lost pressure. Right. And so sometimes that takes 24 to 48 hours before they can get that.
Before it builds back up. So just to let you know. We're the source, and we just gave you the source of that information.
Gave you the information.
I didn't realize when you were talking to Hugh that a plant getting too much water could make leaves brown too. Because I'm like you. You see a yellow leaf, that's too much water.
Yeah.
You see a brown leaf, that's a dead leaf, and I would think that's because it's probably not getting enough sunlight or
but
enough
it
water.
could be getting drowned. It could also
could be getting drowned,
right?
right.
Because we don't think about it. Everybody thinks, well, there's oxygen in water. They're H2O. You got an oxygen.
2 parts
molecule.
hydrogen, 1 part oxygen.
Yeah, you have oxygen in there, but but there's also oxygen in soil.
Right.
And the roots of your plants need oxygen. So when we keep pouring too much water in, just like what happens to us, it begins to deplete the oxygen that it can take up, and they drown.
Yeah. Takes in carbon monoxide and makes
oxygen. Right. And
that's why I like those trees way over there. They help me breathe.
They help you breathe. The oceans actually, I understand that they actually help to clean the air that we breathe as well. I just, it's one of those kind of things. So we got to protect them all.
Remember, as it turns over, as the waves turn over, that the white cap foam, that's actually oxygenated water.
Yeah.
So.
The foam I always heard was dead mermaids, but
yeah. Well, it's like if you have a outdoor drinking thing, like with horses, with outdoor people go, why do they always leave that dripping? The horse drink that much? No, they leave it dripping so the water moves, so it gets oxygen in it, so it doesn't become a cesspool for
mosquitoes and things like that. Plus, it does keep it refreshed. It does keep it refreshed.
But just something. That's why you go to golf courses.
You
go to golf courses and say, oh, why is that fountain there? It's not there for beauty purposes only.
It's pulling the water from the bottom to the top to prevent it.
From stagnation because if water gets stagnant.
Oh, you've got a stinky, smelly, mosquito-infested.
Quick.
Mess,
And Florida,
especially here. Yeah.
Florida is asking the Florida Fish and Wildlife and all, and are asking people to make sure you remember to go out and locate any old tires you have or any buckets you have. Yeah. And they literally listed or any plants with dishes under them.
Your saucers under your plants. And we just had the tropical storm come through. We had a rain event. And if anybody like myself, it was like, okay, I think did I have to work that day? I don't remember. But I put out a big tub where I knew the water coming off the roof would fill that up just in case my power went out because I have a well. I would at least have water to flush with. And so the other day when I was off, it's like, okay, I don't need to use this on the plants because they're getting rain enough. So drain that out because I couldn't turn it over. It was too heavy. Get that drained out of there so that it's not breeding mosquitoes.
Right. And people forget, and you remind them all the time, but that like the pot my mom's in, the saucer underneath that pot's probably 3 feet across.
Right.
Because it's a big pot she sits in.
So
and it's probably got a clearance of 2 inches. Yeah. And it gets water. People go, well, that's not much water. That'll breed enough. A lot of mosquitoes.
All you need is a couple drops of water to breed mosquitoes.
Right. One of those saucers I talked to I was talking to Maxine actually.
Oh, okay.
And I was talking to her and I go, the plant saucer, Carolyn says always to dump it out. And Caroline Baldwin says, dump it out. You say dump it out. Maxine says, yeah, because in one of those things, they've done some studies at UF. They estimate between 500,000 and 1 million mosquito larvae can survive in just one of those little saucer dishes
at a time.
On a big plant. Right. At a time.
Yep. And there are products, if you have a pond or a water feature that maybe doesn't move a lot, there are products out there like the mosquito dunks, the mosquito pellets that you can put in. And what that does is it kills the larvae. Right. It doesn't harm birds, wildlife, your pets,
fish,
livestock, anything like that. So you can use them in troughs and that might not have a bubbler or a drip, ability onto it.
It's kind of like the pond version. It's kind of like for your pond, it's the pool version of your little floaty that has chlorine tablets.
Exactly. The mosquito dunks, they put them in some of the retention ponds, or you can request it. When I lived down in South Florida, we lived right on a canal.
You had to have them
You
there.
had to have, there was one guy, there was a couple of guys that lived down on one end, and I guess the construction company they worked for had these dunks, and they'd bring home a handful every couple of weeks or
Right.
whatever, throw a few in there, just to help keep the mosquito population down, because it could have been bad.
And if you're out in your garden or out in your backyard or your front yard working in your flower beds and all, you know what we mean by about mosquitoes can be bad.
Oh yeah, early morning, in the evening,
Dusk and dawn.
dusk and dawn. Where I know it's hard. It's hot out. Everything else. Long sleeves is probably your best, protection. But use a product. Whether or not you prefer the lemongrass oil type products that are more natural, that I find that you have to apply and apply and apply. Or do you use the synthetic, the DEET? And if you're doing that, you can actually spray your socks and shoes, spray the back of your shirt. You don't necessarily have to coat your skin. And
You just have to create a barrier.
Off, and they will keep you wearing a hat. Spray your hat before you put it on.
Keep a barrier.
It helps because it's a repellent. And also, it was always Skin So Soft. It has to be the original Skin So Soft.
I don't even know if you can find that anymore.
Flea market was the last place I knew you could get it, but it seems like it's only the original is what works real well, and I know it's like the only thing that'll work for no-see-ums.
Yeah.
How well it works for mosquitoes, I don't know, but there's a few different products out there. A couple of them are a little more natural or people friendly or however you want to do it. In order to try to keep the mosquitoes off, because I've heard that there's like 6 states that have had some, I think it's triple E, Eastern equine.
Right.
Saw that the other day, and we have a tendency to have that issue come through Central Florida.
We are in a subtropic area.
And we have a lot of equine.
Yeah.
We have a lot of mosquitoes. So
a lot of horse flies, too. Good night.
Thank God I don't.
I got
live by
one tagged me on the back of my knee this weekend, and I killed it, and it was probably about the size of a nickel.
The only good thing about them is that they move slow.
So you can get them.
You can get
them.
Yeah,
Good morning. You're on with Master Gardener Caroline Baldwin.
Yeah, say this is Hugh again real quick. With mosquitoes, I had a doctor tell me several years ago, take vitamin B12. And let me tell you, I am not bothered by mosquitoes. It works for me. I don't know what it is. It gives your body some kind of a scent that mosquitoes don't like. But vitamin B12 is a wonderful thing if it works.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, Hugh.
Yeah, thanks, yeah. I've also heard garlic, too. But if you eat enough garlic to reek of it, it's, nobody's going to want to be near you, let alone the mosquitoes.
I don't know if B12 keeps away from you, but you can definitely outrun them.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you have the energy.
Yeah, it's the B12's the energy.
And apparently, and I don't know if there's any fact to it, they say certain blood types are more attractive. And it's like, how do they know?
Same way a dog knows if somebody's got cancer.
Yeah, there's just a weird,
they just know.
Because I don't get bothered by a lot of mosquitoes. I was outside yesterday because my car was in the shop, but I was outside yesterday pressure washing my deck and everything else, and I think one mosquito came by.
And see, I get tore up by them. I mean,
yeah.
I went ahead.
I was sitting on the porch having a nice bottle of water there, cooling off, and it's like, okay, here's the spray. I'll put a little on my ankles and the back of my arms, and it was like, okay, I don't have any.
I'm just glad we don't have sand gnats here.
Oh yeah.
For those that don't know, if you're gardening with sand gnats are big.
Okay.
Sand gnats can be really big. Sand gnats are the clay and the sandy area and clay areas of Georgia, South Carolina. Like sand gnats are famous at Beaufort, South Carolina, at Paris Island.
Okay.
And they stand on the attention and everything and. The boys from Company C, the boy from Company C is, he slapped it. Who told you to kill my sand gnat? Find that sand gnat so we can give it a proper military burial. Then they showed him one. That's not it. That's not my sand gnat. But, I mean, the Savannah baseball team was called the Savannah Sand Gnats for a very long time. And if you've never been stung by a sand, you think a no-see-um or mosquito hurts? Sand gnats are about the same size as a mosquito, and they sting you like a horsefly.
I was going to say just bigger teeth.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And then, of course, we don't deal with gnats a whole lot here either.
No, not too bad.
And up in South Georgia, we'd play baseball and everything.
You'd have to
And
get
they'd
a
stick on
fog
your
of
eyelids.
gnats.
Yeah,
fog of gnats suddenly at you.
Yeah.
We get them every so often. I've seen them come through. I'm lucky where I'm at. Except for there is a swamp right by me, actually 1 block over, and with all this rain, it's got water in it right now. So I'm sure it's got it's breeding mosquitoes and frogs. The frogs will help take care of the mosquitoes.
Yep.
That's the one good thing. But I get the lightning bugs.
Oh yeah.
I've got
We don't get much lightning bugs out
no,
my house.
you've got to have an area that is, I say, undisturbed or less disturbed woodland areas. And
I don't know that there's any scientific fact to what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
But I know as a kid growing up, when we saw fireflies congregating around one area, I'd tell my sister, we're going to go pick blackberries over there tomorrow. And then you would go, and within 15 or 20, 30 feet into the wood line from where you saw those,
you find a bunch of blackberries.
Find a bunch of blackberries. I don't know if there's any scientific fact in that or whatever.
Whether or not they breed under there.
I have
and,
no idea. I don't know if it's
for birds that would eat them.
I don't know, just because it's such a wooded area that, because that's what fireflies like. So I don't know. But, hey, we got about a minute to go. Let's take one more call real quick. You're on with Carol Ann Baldwin. And they hung up. They didn't like us.
They didn't like it. Well, they didn't want to wait.
Well,
we got a minute.
we only got a minute.
Maybe their question will be longer than a minute. So if they call back after the bottom of the hour break, and we can get into that.
Well, that may have something to do with it.
It could be, but that's it's.
But once again, I don't know if there's any scientific fact.
But I do know that those areas in neighborhoods where people use a lot of pest control or a lot of commercial synthetic type products, you find that you have less of those fun bugs, the lightning bugs, the fireflies, butterflies, things like that, because you're killing off what that they're eating and that their natural habitat.
We'll be back after this time out with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin with In the Garden, right here at 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.